Okay, is that everyone, Helen? She's disappeared now.
Yeah, I am here. Sorry, I put my mic on mute. Yes. So this is everybody that was waiting to join the licensing subcommittee this morning. And I'll hand over to you, Chair. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Good morning, everyone. This is a first, actually. You're privileged to be the first licensing subcommittee that is completely virtual. So we might have a couple of hiccups, but we'll try our best to do it just as we would if we were all in the room. I'll start off. We'll start off with the appointment of the chair, and then we'll go on to introductions, I think. So, can we have a nomination for chair, please?
Can I propose yourself?
Thank you. Thank you. You want to second that, Tony, or not?
Yeah, I'll second that.
Okay, all those in favour? Good, thank you. Okay, that's done. Any apologies for absence, Helen?
I keep putting my mic on mute. No apologies today. Thanks, Chair.
Any declarations of interest? Tony.
Simon, I'd be advised by yourself or Leslie. I am actually a licensee.
Okay.
I don't know whether I should be declaring that as an interest.
Okay. Thank you. Okay, so
just for if Tony explain that, I'm also a licensee.
Okay, thank you, Marcus. Right, so we'll do some introductions just so we all know who we are. My name's Simon Carswell. I'm a Somerset councillor for Street. Marcus.
I'm Marcus Cravis. I'm the division councillor for Dunster, which is in West Somerset. Yeah.
Tony.
Tony Robbins. I'm a councillor for Mendip Hills.
Thank you. Leslie.
Yes, good morning, Chair. My name is Leslie Dolan. I'm one of the council's in-house lawyers, and my function here today is to provide legal advice to you and your colleagues sitting on the licensing panel.
Thank you. Phil.
Good morning, I'm Phil Wake. I'm a licensing officer for Somerset Council, covering the East area.
Okay, I think Rosie's just joined. I think you probably dropped out, Rosie, and then came back in. Okay, so if we just introduce everybody else. So Roger, you're on mute.
Roger Hutton, I'm chairman of Ditchett Parish Council. I'm just here to listen.
Thank you. Charles?
I am a Ditchett Parish Councillor. I'm here to speak on behalf of the Parish Council.
Thank you. Matteo?
I'm Matteo, owner of Higher Farm.
Yeah, the applicant, yeah. Nicholas?
Yeah, I'm a Sutton resident.
Okay, thank you. David? Oh, you're on mute, David. You're on mute. No, you're on mute again. I think you unmuted and then you went straight back to mute. There you go. Try. No, you're not working. Okay, we'll move to Rosie and we'll come back to you, David. Rosie?
I'm a resident of Sutton.
Thank you.
And
I assume David,
my partner. Yeah.
Okay, I was going to say I assume David's a resident of Sutton as well. Okay, good. Okay, well we'll start. The format of the meeting.
To introduce myself, shall I, Simon?
Oh, sorry, Helen, I forgot you.
That's all right now. And just to let everyone know that I'm the Democratic Services Officer, and I'm attending to minute this and record the application hearing. Thank you. Thank you.
So the format of the meeting is that we'll have a report from the licensing officer who will explain the application, and then questions can be asked of the licensing officer. Then the applicant will present his case, questions, and any objectors can then present their case and receive questions. Then there'll be a summing up, and after all that is over, we will retire to make a decision, and we should be able to make a decision today. You'll be asked to leave when we go and make the decision, but you'll be called back in for the decision. Okay. Okay, if we ask Phil, the licensing officer, to present their... Somebody got their hand up already.
Sorry,
Helen,
that's me. Sorry, we just missed one item off the agenda. Sorry, Chair.
Yes.
Which is just for the minutes of the subcommittee for today's meeting. We need to have a proposer and a seconder that you will be
signing them.
approved as the person to sign them. So if you could just go through that formality, thanks.
Okay, what Helen said. All those in favour? Marcus, Tony? Good. Thank you.
Thank you. Sorry, just a formality.
Okay. Okay, Phil, would you like to present the case, please?
Thank you, Chair. So a summary of why we're here today. An application has been made by Matteo Grasso in accordance with the Licensing Act 2003 to vary a premises licence in respect of PRL 0899 Higher Farm, Bolters Lane, Sutton, Shepton Mallet, BA4 6QF. The licensing authority has received 5 relevant representations and must therefore hold a hearing for the licensing subcommittee to determine the application. Issues for consideration and recommendations. The subcommittee must take steps as it considers appropriate for the promotion of the licensing objectives, being to either grant the application, modify the conditions of the license by way of altering, omitting or adding any new ones, or rejecting the whole or part of the application. In determining the application, the subcommittee must have regard and give appropriate weight to the following: any relevant representation, including supporting documentation received, revised guidance issued under Section 182 of the Licensing Act 2003 by the Home Office, the Licensing Authority's Statement of Licensing Policy, and the human rights considerations, in particular Article 6, Article 8 and Article 1 of Protocol 1. So a bit of background about the application. The premises. The business operating from this premises, trading as Higher Farm, is a farm devoted to forest farming with a cafe and lake also on site. Produce is grown on the farm and sourced from like-minded farmers to provide ingredients for the cafe. The premises has events occasionally and uses an outside bar, which is undercover, to serve customers. The premises license PRL 0899 was granted on the 8th of July 2024. The conditions and the summary of the license can be found at Appendix 10. The licensing authority received the application on the 16th of April 2025. A copy of the full application and the plan of the premises is attached to Appendix 1 and 2. The nature of the variation is to A, increase the licensable area, and B, increase the supply of alcohol times from 1200 hours to 2100 hours 7 days a week to 1200 hours to 2300 hours 7 days a week. During the consultation period, during the initial consultation period, there were complications and delays with the site notice being displayed. This resulted in the consultation period ending on the 29th of July 2025. During the consultation period, the police engaged with the applicant and an agreement was made to amend the plan of the premises and reduce the size of the proposed licensable area. This can be found at Appendix 3. The same parties also agreed to amend the conditions proposed in the operating schedule of the application. These can be found at Appendix 4. As mentioned before, the licensing authority received 5 representations from other persons. It's also something to include here that Ditchett Parish Council did also submit an representation, but that wasn't passed to me until the report had been done. So that was included as supplement 1 that was then circulated as well. The objection or representations were received from Graham and Mary Evans, Nick and Pat Burn, Paul White, Rosie Gray, Sue Smethurst and Ditchett Parish Council. They can be found from Appendix 5 to 9 and also Supplement 1. The licensing authority received 0 representations from responsible authorities. And that's the end. Thank you, Chair.
Thank you, Phil. I've just got one question. We've got the 2 Appendix 2 and Appendix 3, showing the area applied for and then the amended area following discussions with the police. We haven't got a plan showing what the existing licensed area was. Was that as in Appendix 2 or Appendix 3 or something different again?
It was not included. I can get that for you now if you'd like that.
I think it just helped to see how much it's increased or decreased from what the original license was.
So initially it was to cover a small courtyard area and the farm shop and kitchen, whereas the plan now is to include a bit more of the surrounding areas. I can find that for you quickly if you want me to share that then.
So basically, in summary, Appendix 2 was the amount applied for, then it was agreed to reduce it to Appendix 3, but the original area was a bit smaller again.
Yes.
Okay, yeah. Thank you. Thank you. No, that's fine, Phil. Thank you. Marcus, do you have a question of the licensing officer?
Good. I am still on mute. That was good. Just checking. Yeah, I do. Thank you, Phil. Yeah, so that's really following on from Simon's question was the original license was a small courtyard area. With a small courtyard area, obviously the restaurant, cafe, etc. But this one, obviously now, this new license includes an awful lot more outside areas, so red line the license will be bigger. So how much, when you say small courtyard, I don't necessarily see a plan. Just a quick question was, one is a small courtyard, which is now being extended, and secondly, my next question supposes originally the license was for 9 o'clock. Now, what was the reasons at the time for that license being 9 o'clock? Was that something that was came up with a hearing? I can't quite see it in the back. So apologies if I missed it. Was that something that was just what the application was applied for? Was that negotiated for the application?
Yeah, so the initial application with regards to the timings, that is what was applied for, not midday until 9 p.m. That was what was applied for, and that was all granted. And then in regards to, so if you've got Appendix 3 there with the plan, there's a courtyard area to the south of the bar and restaurant, and that is what was licensed. It was just the building and the small courtyard area, whereas now it expands up to the north as well. But again, I can source the initial plan if that would be preferred. I can share that with everybody here.
That might be quite useful, Phil, if you can do that without too much trouble.
Yeah, give me a second, I'll get it.
Okay. Tony, do you have any questions of Phil while he's searching?
I don't know. Marcus has pretty well covered what I was planning on asking.
I've got a couple more questions. I don't want to interrupt Phil while he's trying to find the document.
I don't know whether your audio's poor, Marcus, or you're just mumbling. I'm not sure.
It's probably me mumbling. Sorry, I've had to change. I've actually changed my office this weekend, so I'm on a different PC. How's that? Is that
That's
a bit better now?
That's better. That's better.
There you go. They used to call me mumbling Marcus at school. No way. Yeah. So my other question was just for clarification. Since the license is being granted, have there been any representations to EHO that you're aware of, any representations to us, the licensing department that you know of, or any comments to the police that you know
of? There have been, I believe there was a complaint made to the police not long after the license was granted, which has then been investigated by the police, and I believe that is still ongoing. That was in regards to a potential breach of the license. Matteo may be able to expand on that when it gets around to his turn to sort of present his case. And yeah, I'm not aware of any environmental health complaints or comments. Again, they were a responsible authority and they didn't make an objection or any representation to the application.
It's closed. It's not ongoing anymore.
Thank you, Matteo. Sorry, I'm being pedantic here, but if we can wait until each person is authorised to speak and not jump in. That's okay, Matteo, that's fine. Marcus, did you have another question of Phil?
Not at this moment in time.
No. Can I just ask, Phil, have there been TENs applied for to extend the hours in this period that have been granted, and so events have been held up to 11 o'clock?
I believe so. Yeah, there have been TENs that have extended the licensable activity timings. Yes.
Okay, thank you. Okay, good.
Can I come back? Can I come back there, Simon?
Yes, of course you can.
That's actually a good question, Simon. Because so on those TENs that have been held till 11 o'clock, been no instances, were there any objections to those TENs notices, or were they just went through the process, and did anything arise, or were there any issues that arise from those 10 notices? So you're following the previous question, wasn't it?
For a temporary event notice, it only gets served on the police, environmental health and environmental protection. And yeah, so those TENs went through. There were no objections to those temporary event notices. And I'm not aware of any problems from those events.
Thank you.
Thank you. Put your hand if you've got any questions of the licensing officer specifically. Has anybody got any question for the licensing officer? I've not seen any hands go up. So I'll move on to the applicant, Mr.
Phil, have you been able to find the plan of with the current license?
Yep, I was just going to ask Helen, what's the best way to share it? Share my screen, or I've got an image of it, so I can send it into the chat, maybe.
Can you
I
share
will
your
just share
screen?
Sorry.
Yeah, share my screen. What I'll do is I'll just put it on a Word document just so it's completely separate, so nothing else is shared. So if you give me just a moment.
You don't need your family photos. No.
Yeah. Okay.
Okay. So
There we go. Hopefully that should be visible now.
yeah,
so as
I
we
can see it.
here, I don't know if you can see my mouse moving around, but we've got the farm shop and kitchen there. And then the courtyard area here. So that is still included on the amended plan. However, the increased proposal is to then use a section of the property which is up towards the north east of the area, which is up here.
Yeah. Okay. Okay, that's quite clear. So it's extending mainly to the northeast, like you say. In fact, it's reduced a bit to the east, hasn't it? Some of that grass has been taken out, I think. But yes, okay. Super. Thank you. You can unshare now.
All good.
Thank you.
Okay. Can I call you Matteo or Mr. Grasso?
Whatever you like.
Okay, Matteo, would you like to present your case as the applicant?
You
don't have to say. You don't. Yeah, go on.
I don't really have anything to say.
No. Okay.
I'm all ears really to hear what the problems are really, but nothing to say really.
Okay.
Other than I guess if that was unless it didn't get recorded, we got an email from the police saying the case is certainly closed.
Okay.
Just for the records, I don't think that matters though.
Thank you.
But yeah, nothing to say really. Happy to hear.
Marcus, do you have any questions of Mr. Grasso?
Yeah, I suppose I do. I mean, if you can, obviously that case was closed. But I don't know if the nature of the complaint is relevant or not. But the question, I suppose, is what are you, with this application, what are you actually hoping to achieve? Because obviously you've been running successfully until 9 o'clock at night. What's the reasons for the applications, and what? I mean, I've had a quick look. Google Earth. I think I've got a picture of the inside of your cafe. What are you hoping to achieve? What's the aim? I mean, what's your business and how does it work?
Well, it's basically if you're sitting down for dinner and you need to pay your bill and you've booked at 8 o'clock, we basically, it's quite tricky. We try and get people to pay before they've finished, but they're in theory breaking the law when they want to pay their bill. So that's the reason.
And the temporary events notices that you've done, what have you actually, you've applied for, you've had temporary event notices before? And what
I think they've been doing, I'd have to talk to Chris about what he's been doing. Has he been doing temporary, Phil, you might actually know better than me. Sorry, what is the question? But I think he's doing temporary event notices every weekend or something to do that.
For temporary event notices, it wouldn't. There's limits that you can have per person and also per location and duration per calendar year. So typically people would use temporary event notices for events or occasions. So if you've had any events at the farm, it may be that, because I can see here Chris has done your tents for you. It may be that he's done them just to license a separate area on the farm or to go beyond your licensable activity timings. So if you've had any sort of later evenings or anything like that, your welcome days to the farm or something like that, it may be that he's used a temporary event notice for that.
Okay. Yeah.
Do you, Matteo, sorry, I'm butting in here. Do you have any, with your normal hours, do you have any music or entertainment, or is it purely a restaurant?
No, there's a bar where there's music as well.
Okay, and is that amplified music or is it? How loud would you say that is? What sort of, is it just like background music, or?
I mean, I don't know.
Is it house music? Is it banging with light sticks, or
No. It's like I don't know, a sort of speaker playing some music in the courtyard. Yeah, it's not like people aren't dancing. That's actually to define it.
Thank you. Marcus or Tony, do you have any other questions?
Yeah, just clarification there. Is that, I mean, are we having live music? Is this recorded music? Have you got,
when we have live music, I believe that's when Chris puts in attends.
Can I ask who Chris is? This is the second mention of him. Who is Chris?
He's our general manager.
And he's not on the call with you today?
Well, I didn't know he would come. I didn't know this many people would be here. I might even be able to stick him on now, but it would have been really good. I thought I was the only person who was allowed to come because it's under my name. But I think I know roughly enough information. But if you think it would be good, I can WhatsApp him now to see if he can join.
It wouldn't be a bad idea, I think, if we can get him, because he might have a better idea, Matteo, of the day-to-day running or what's been happening so far.
I would prefer. I would say that would be useful.
Yeah.
Okay, I'm messaging him now.
They're a bit heavy-handed with the keyboard there, but there you go.
Okay. Let me. Okay. How do I add someone to this call?
Helen, can you do something with that?
I can send him a link, Matteo. If you could give me if you're happy to give me his email address.
So it's Chris B, the letter B, at hire-farm.co.uk.
Okay. I'll email him the link now.
Okay. If there's no more questions from members, has anybody else got any questions for the applicant? Leslie?
Could I just ask you, Matteo, you've had the benefit of negotiations with the police, and that has led to a submission of a lesser area which is proposed to be used for licensed entertainment, and you have agreed conditions with the police. Can you confirm that they are, in terms of the conditions, they are set out at Appendix 4 of the agenda?
Sorry, I'm not sure what you're talking about. The police.
You've had negotiations with the police, or your general manager has had negotiations with the police about your proposed application. And as a result of those negotiations, a set of agreed conditions has been put forward. And the area that you were proposing for your activities has been reduced. And as a result of those agreements with you, the police have withdrawn their representation, or they have decided not to lodge a representation. I just need you to confirm that those conditions that have been agreed are the ones that are set out at Appendix 4 of the agenda, so page 25 through to page 27, and that the agreed plan, the new plan, is now the one at Appendix 3, which is on page 23 of the agenda.
Yes.
Thank you.
Thank you. Does anybody else have any questions of Matteo?
Yes, I do. Just to check, just check who's your designated, because you're the licensee. Who's your designated premises supervisor? Would that be Chris?
Yes, I imagine.
Okay, we might need clarity on that, perhaps, if Chris comes in. Rosie, did you have a question?
Yeah, my original thoughts were that I was under the impression that the restaurant only had a license within the restaurant. I didn't. I was under the impression that the outside bar didn't hold a license. That's my first question. When did that change?
Is that a question for me?
Well,
Phil, Phil, have you got me able to come in there?
Yeah. So I've just checked the license. Matteo, you are the DPS, designated premises supervisor, and the licensable area has been that since the initial area, since the initial license. So that courtyard has been able to be used. So yeah.
Okay.
Thank you.
Another question, if that's okay. Who polices the policy? Who polices all the CCTV, noise capacity, and the people, helping traffic in and out of the place? Because the events that have been held, late night events with music, have been held. We have had issues with noise and traffic, and we have actually, I have emailed Higher Farm during these events, late night events, and this is what I think you want the late night licensing for, so that you can hold more events. You're already advertising, you can hire Farm for events.
Who polices it, Chris? If that was the question.
Who polices it, Chris? So will the CCTV and all of the training be put in place before the license is granted?
It already is. Yeah, I mean, he's got all his training systems. There's things that people have to do and sign, and there's CCTV and things like that. Yeah.
That is part of the conditions of if the license is granted. That is part of the conditions anyway.
I mean, it's already in there. It's already happening. Extending it by now won't change the training. I mean, but yes.
Okay. Thank you. Okay, we're going to move on now. It says I would now invite responsible authorities to present the case, but we've had no representations, as we've heard.
Chair, could I ask a question of the applicant?
Of course you can, Leslie, sorry.
Just to say that Mr. Sorry, don't know your surname, Chris. Chris has just joined the meeting. Just to say.
Hi, Chris.
Hi, everyone.
The question I had was clearly 2 bars, one within the restaurant building, and the other in the courtyard. When is the courtyard bar used? Is it just for events?
The courtyard bar is Wednesday to Sunday, 12 p.m. to 9 p.m.
Yeah. Thank you.
Okay. Now that Chris is on the call, can I re-ask my question?
Yes, of course. Chris, we've asked you to come in because I believe you do the day-to-day running of the premises, and Matteo was struggling a bit on some of the questions because he isn't involved on a day-to-day basis. So if you don't mind, if we can involve you in just some of the questions. Marcus.
I think my original question was I think Matteo explained the fact that you've got a restaurant there and you're having to stop serving alcohol at 9 o'clock, and that's practical by getting scratching the imagination. Well, it would be practical in some areas, as I said, but you'd get closer to civilization. With regard to your reasoning,
a bit muffled again, Marcus. Can
sorry, with regard to
just for everyone else, I think you need to sit closer to your mic.
With regard to your, how's that? That's better. With regard to your reasons for the application and the events that are taking place. I mean, are we talking about putting on live music, or are you talking about just hiring it out for weddings? Matteo talked about, or somebody mentioned about advertising that you can hire the farm out. Are you looking at weddings? Are you looking at other events? And if it was weddings, 11 o'clock might be too low anyway. So I'm just trying to get an idea of what you're trying to achieve with this license and with the increasing of the area of the license. Hope that makes sense.
Yeah, totally makes sense. So with the changes, the proposed changes to the premises license, our main the two main things that we wanted to achieve was to increase our hours. So currently our premises license allows us to serve alcohol from 12 till 9, and that's Monday to Sunday. Now, as many of you know, we have our restaurant that's open. We open for 3 evenings a week, Thursday, Friday, Saturday. And what we've been doing up until now, and what we're going to continue to do, is that we're open for those evenings. But we adhere to our current license by stopping the sale, the physical transaction and the till sale of alcohol by 9 o'clock, which we're able to do. But obviously, I'm sure you can all appreciate that it's not ideal long term to do that. Obviously, what we want to be able to do is to have people for dinner later, and for people to drink between 9 and 11, and for us to process transactions through. So that's how we're able to continue to operate for dinner, while still adhering to our license. So that's the first thing. The second thing was to extend our boundary. So I know that it was included in the documents that were sent out, but our current boundary includes the restaurant space and the courtyard bar, and an old cider barn, which is a building which currently isn't being used for anything, but that was in the original planning. And part of this extension boundary was to include a space just behind the restaurant, which would be used for very ad hoc events. So those were the two things that we wanted to be able to change. Now, in terms of weddings and events and things like that, I mean, we've had very, very casual conversations about looking at doing that in the future. There is nothing planned in the way of holding, big events or weddings or anything like that. It's very much
that wouldn't really matter anyway, because we'd get a TENS for those.
Yeah.
We'd have to apply for a TENS for those anyway, so that wouldn't really be a reasoning behind this license application. Yeah. Because if we did have a wedding, for example, they would want live music, they would want to use the whole farm, and we would have to do a whole different TENS situation. So this is, as Chris says, for those two reasons.
Can I just ask a question, Chris? How many covers do you have in the restaurant?
So we have 30 covers inside, and then we're able to add another 10 or 12 outside during good weather. So 30 max inside, and then inside outside, maximum 40, 42.
And do you have people attending your premises just to eat and go to the restaurant, or do you have people coming just to have a drink at the bar, or a bit of both?
Bit of both. So we have our restaurant, which is, you can book a table online, you can rock up and grab a table for lunch and dinner, and then the bar is used as a more of a casual sort of appealing to families and younger people to to come and have some kind of offer without necessarily coming for lunch or dinner.
Thank you. Right. Do we have any other questions of the applicant? Nicholas.
Yeah, he says he could do 30 covers, but would they use the tables 2 or 3 times of an evening? Would be, a question from me.
Covers are different to total number of customers, but you might do 1.5 or 2 turns an evening. So you turn the tables 1.5 or twice. So if we have a good day, we try to do something like 50 dinner customers. But right now, am I right, Chris? We're doing about 70 all day. Is that right?
I mean, if I'm honest, like the maximum that we've done, is between sort of 70 and 75, and that's including lunch and dinner as well.
It's nice you being honest, Chris. Thanks.
I'd like another question.
Yes, go on, Nicholas.
It's actually more for Phil Wake, really. Is it actually illegal for them, if they've served dinner of an evening, so drink, and it's all within a bill, to take that money after 9 o'clock for the drink and everything, or are they still allowed to carry on and take the money?
It's a good question.
Yeah, I mean, I'm happy to answer that, Phil. If I can go ahead. Yes. Yeah. So there's two bits to that. So like with our current license, physically serving alcohol, so you know, handing someone a drink, whether they paid for it already or going to pay afterwards, doing that post 9 o'clock or them paying the bill after 9 o'clock, even if they've already had all their alcoholic drinks, that's going against the conditions of our license currently. So as I said when I joined, what we're doing now in order to operate but also adhere to all of the conditions on our license is that we're making sure that when people are, you know, so for example at the bar we shut at 9 or shut just before 9, so there is no exchange of money, no exchange of drinks post 9 o'clock. And also in the restaurant, we ensure that when people are, you know, in for dinner or buying a drink, that all, you know, physical transactions, you know, handing over drink, and also all transactions through the till are completed by 9 o'clock. So we still have people in the restaurant, you know, post 9 o'clock, but all of those transactions would have been settled beforehand, and all drinks would have been settled beforehand.
Okay, thank you.
But hopefully that answers your question.
Yes, thank you.
Yes. Thank you very much. Okay, we'll now move on. As I said, responsible authorities would normally present their case, but there are no responsible authorities. The police having come to an agreement with the applicant and no other responsible authorities making a submission or any objections. So now we move on to other persons. Is there anybody who has already made a written statement who'd like to present their case? So I think that would be Mr. Byrne, Rosie, and Mr. Evans. Who would like to go for it? If any of you would like to go first, or
I'll go first.
Okay, Rosie. Okay.
So we have been involved talking to Higher Farm over the last 2 years, and the plans have changed quite considerably from what they originally suggested to us was going to happen. We felt as if we were quite supportive. But the main issue we have, or I have, is outside space causing huge amount of noise when they have late night events, or even during the day at the weekends. It has been, over the last few weeks, the noise coming from the courtyard has been well, I mean, we can all hear it. The traffic, everything has been, we've gone from say 10 cars a day to one every 30 seconds when they're open at the weekend, which is a huge difference and has fundamentally changed the feel of our village. Because we don't understand what is going on and what they're trying to achieve, we are feeling very insecure, and it doesn't feel to us as if we have any rights or any input into how our village is going to be in the future. I don't understand why if they want to have a restaurant and they want to serve alcohol after 9 o'clock, why do they have to serve it in the courtyard? Why can't they just carry on serving it in the restaurant within the walls of the restaurant, which will cut down considerably on the noise that we're experiencing.
Thank you. Nicholas, did you want to
Yeah, I'll have a say. Firstly, probably it's totally irrelevant because you have no one from Highways there. We have a neighbour who is not on with us today. They built a garage. They had to pay for a Highways survey of vehicle movements to build a garage that was going to not increase in the amount of traffic or anything. And I feel it's very much probably too late, but there should have been some sort of Highways thing saying about travel and transport. I applied for planning personally for a house. And one of the reasons for turning it down was that it would increase the amount of vehicles within the village by probably 2 more cars a day, because we'd sell the house in the village and build one further down the road. And then all of a sudden we're bombarded with somewhere around 100 to 150 vehicles on a Saturday. We have done a vehicle count, so we do know. So I find it a bit hard on that. The other thing, we have 3 people that aren't on here today that work milking cows on a farm, live close to the road, have no choice where they live, really. Same thing, they start at 3 in the morning. If we got vehicles leaving here 11 o'clock at night en masse, it will be waking them up, which seems very unfair. If you're calling yourself a farm, you should be a farm, in my opinion.
Thank you, Nicholas. Somebody's clicking their pen and it's annoying me.
That's me, sorry. That's me.
Okay, Nicholas,
That's
thank
the
you.
stress.
Charles, did you want to say something on behalf of the Parish Council?
Yes, please, Chairman. Thank you very much indeed. Well, you'll see from our submission, we have actually confirmed there are 2 main concerns. One is under public safety and the other is prevention of public nuisance. When Higher Farm was first purchased, the Parish Council was very pleased because the owners said, please come along and we'll show you what we are planning to do. So most of the parish councillors went along to Higher Farm and were shown around what was then still Higher Farm buildings. And they were explaining to us where we were planning on having a restaurant here, a kitchen here, and things of that nature, a bit of car parking here. When I posed the question as to, what sort of discussions have you had with Somerset County about this, the response was, we haven't had any. Our consultants say we don't need any. Now, that rather surprised us, bearing in mind all the other types of applications that have to be made for all manner of things in this day and age. So we were somewhat surprised by that. However, the works continued generally as they had explained to us. But as I think Rosie has made a point, over time, things have changed. Things have changed without any reference, as far as we are aware, to the local authority. Certainly, no change has come across the desk of Ditchett Parish Council. And we do try to look after our parishioners as best we are able. Things are now getting to a point where, because they are obviously very popular, you only have to go and put in Higher Farm online, and there's an enormous amount of advertising, which is fair enough for them. This attracts a lot of people who are not country dwellers. So that means they don't know how to drive in the country. Yes, they have a big vehicle, they may have a small vehicle, but the road leading primarily to the site is a little over 1 car width. There's about 2 pulling end places that I can recall. So again, you get a lot of traffic movement in and out, let alone the amount of traffic has already been explained, particularly over this very warm summer period. And those cars, yes, they arrive, but they have to leave, and they have to leave late at night. Now, as the weather and the winter sort of starts to creep in on us, it'll become darker. Traffic, traffic movements, lighting, and so on will become more of a problem. So if they started off with the intention of, well, we'll apply for a 12 till 9, surely they ought to be sticking to that and making their business work. They obviously decided early on what they wanted to do and how they would make it work. So we do not see any justification to suddenly increase the hours, and not just for 1 day or 2 days, but for 7 days a week. I don't think there are any other similar premises in our part of the world which run on that basis. Many of them only run for 6 days anyway, let alone 7 days. We also get the impression that things are a little bit sort of shooting from the hip. Just as an example, you have wild boar, and surprise, surprise, the wild boar escape. Well, that's of course they'll escape. Wild boar, you can't keep them. I know it's not part of the application. Now they have geese, a flock of geese, which are causing some distress to people using the public footpath, which has been there since the 1700s and comes right alongside the site. So it's things of this nature which, in the Parish Council's opinion, contribute to a reason why we do not consider the actual times of their license should be extended.
Thank you, Charles. I think I'll bring Leslie in now. Leslie, did you want to make any comments on what's just been said by different the objectors?
Yeah, I would just make a comment about what Mr. Evans, on behalf of the Parish Council, has just told us. In regard to wild boar, and naturally these are wild creatures, and there's a
it's not a wild boar. Sorry, I'm going to have to interject. It's very important because the terminologies are very important.
Can I please just finish the question?
Can Leslie just finish, Matteo, please?
And the comment was that they are naturally going to try and escape, and then there's a flock of geese. Those two matters in themselves, I would say, and would advise you, members, are not relevant to the licensing matters that are before you this morning. Also, to remind you, we've heard Mr. Evans talk about, it was Mr. Bryant talking about his neighbour submitting planning permission for a garage and his personal application for a house. And just to remind members that the two regimes, i.e. planning and licensing, are different. So that's all I would want to say to you, panel members, this morning.
Thank you. Do any of the members have any questions of the other persons, Marcus or Tony?
Tony, you want to go first?
Sorry, no, I don't have any.
Okay.
Okay,
Marcus.
I'll go. Yeah, so I'm sorry. Couple of questions. Firstly, Rose, I'll probably do each person individually, then ask the question and get the answer, then go to the next person. Rose, you say about the noise, etc., and how bad it's been, particularly with the courtyard. In the courtyard, and I presume there's people in there drinking and talking and yakking and doing whatever they do when they got a beer in their hand. But that, you say that's been, I think I can't quite remember the word you used, but you said how bad it was. I mean, I once had a neighbour complain because some guests in the self-catering accommodation let off fireworks, and I got a letter from the EHO about that. Have you not complained to environmental health about this? I mean, if it was that bad and intolerant, I mean, have you contacted Natia about it, or Chris? Have you spoke to them about it? And
I googled who to talk to about it, and it said the council, and I presume that meant the parish council. I have been in contact with the parish council. I've also emailed Higher Farm on occasions, Giacomo, Matteo's brother, came round with a bottle of wine last time, saying terribly sorry, won't do it again. Really got out of hand, which was an event late at night. It was a one-off. It won't happen again. All while at that moment we realised that they were putting in a licensing to make it later and the area bigger. They've also got a lake which they've dug, which has they say is for customers only, which has caused considerable amount of noise and disruption in the village as well. When you Google who to complain to, it says do not call the police unless it's an emergency. So I haven't been calling the police because it's not an emergency. It's noise.
But even, yeah, okay, so it's noise, which would naturally be environmental health, and of course environmental health, there's no record of this and no record of any noise. That's what's on.
Well, from now on, I will know that I have to contact environmental health because, you know, I've never done this before. I don't know how it works. I was contacting Matteo or Higher Farm. You know, actually, Giacomo has been quite abusive towards me. He has told me to stop shitting on his WhatsApp group when I have suggested that they contact the council about some signs. It feels very, it's very worrying, and this is my home, and yes, it has affected my mental health.
Chair, could I just ask Rosie and the other residents on the call, have you been shown the conditions that have been agreed between the applicant and the police?
Yes.
Have you seen those? Just talking there about the lake, on page 27, public safety, the first condition there is that the lake area shall not be used when any event is taking place.
What is an event?
Well, it's one of these, I would suggest, and Phil will no doubt confirm, it is something over and above the everyday use of the restaurant.
Yeah, I'd agree with that, yes.
Okay. Marcus, did you have another question?
Yeah, I did. Thank you. Yeah, if I can move on. Nicholas, I think Leslie's talked about the planning issues and highways issues, etc. I mean, you've said there's 100 to 150 vehicles, and you said you recorded that. Can I just ask, is that 100 to 150? That's one. There's a big tolerance there. But two, is that each way? Is that 100 vehicles one way, then going to the farm, then going back? Because
my wife did a count on a Saturday. It was very rough because she was ironing at the time, in and out doing it. And there was over 100 vehicles that she counted that went down, and 100 went back out. And there is two ways in, so the other way doesn't affect us in and out. But yes, there's certainly a lot more vehicles in and out of the village. Previous to that, we at our end of the village, we would have known nearly who was coming, who was going, and the neighbours, their friends that had come to visit would have had a new car. So that is to just give you an idea of the increase that we've seen.
Well, I think my question is, I suppose, is that we say it was a Saturday. Was there something special going on that day? Because if that was a normal day where Chris has said, well, actually we're serving 70 meals a day.
That was just a normal Saturday. I haven't got the date with me here. They might be able to tell us something different. But there was, as far as we're aware, no special events. It was just a normal Saturday.
So it's a normal, and and what you don't know, I suppose, is where they're all going. So you don't know for definite whether they're all going to High Farm, or could you see them going in and out the entrance to High Farm?
We have an email that tells us from Higher Farm that we said about the transport that people were using it as a rat run, but we can't work out where they were running to because the road is a loop to Alhampton. There's nowhere, that you would go down here. We do get some traffic. If there's an accident by Castle Carey Station, we get a few people that will come down and try and go through to try and get round, think they're going somewhere and they're not, because they end up down a no-through road at that point.
Okay. One other question. You say there's two ways in there, isn't there? There's one by. Does it make any difference which way in and out they use? Because I suppose they all have to go.
The majority of the vehicles do come down through the small part of the village. If they would start leaving through Alhampton, I think you wouldn't have a big enough screen for people to be sitting here today talking about this. There would be a lot more people on here today saying they didn't want them leaving through their village.
But so okay. So the count was a rough it was on a Saturday, but you don't know when they're going. I think, and obviously people going as well. People who, there was. I think you did mention about people getting woken up who have to be up at 3 o'clock in the morning. Well, afraid,
yeah, they get up to work at 3.
Can I move on to? It was Charles. It was just clarification, Charles, actually, about it was about your 6 days a week. I don't quite. You said they were operating 6 days a week. Was it 7 days a week? I think you mentioned people not being able to drive. Well, the whole subset's a big choice. I think it's a whole tourist attraction. There's lots of people who don't know how to. Well, aren't used to small roads, but they're not allowed to legally use them. But the question, I suppose, just clarify your 6 days a week. Is that because they're operating 6 or 7? Is it because they're operating 7 days a week rather than 6 days a week? Is that a day a week? Is that the issue?
Yeah, no, I was just giving an example. Certain local authorities, certain hostleries, as example, the Natty Jack Toad, which is not far away from us, operate 6 days a week. That's all. I'm just giving an example that there are places which do not need to operate 7 days a week.
But if people wanting a business, but you understand they're willing or their need to open 7 days a week.
Yeah, I'm just giving you an example of places in this area running similar sort of organisations which don't need to run for 7 days a week. That was all.
I think that's all my questions at the moment, Chair. Thank you.
Thank you. Has anyone else got any questions? I know, Matteo, you've got questions rather than a statement, Matteo, because you will have a chance to do that. But if you've got any questions of the other persons. Yeah. Or do you want to wait until
I just need to make my statement relatively
okay,
soon.
we'll do that in a second. Yeah, we'll do that in a second. Okay, that's fine.
Chris has his hand up, Chair.
Chris, where is he? Oh, down the bottom. There he is. Chris, have you got a question?
Well, it was just to answer the person who was speaking just now. I just wanted to clarify, our opening times in the 7 day week. So it's not really a question. Shall I now?
No, just clarify the opening times. Go on.
Well, so we are open 5 days a week. So we operate Wednesday to Sunday. However, our current license permits us to operate 12 till 9, 7 days a week. So it made when we were applying to the changes to the premises license, we thought it would make sense to apply those 7 days a week rather than unnecessarily restricting ourselves to 5 days a week, because as we all know, operations change, and we didn't want to limit ourselves to the 5 days when we already have a premises license that covers 7 days. But we are operational 5 days a week. So I just wanted to clarify that point before we move ahead.
Okay, thank you.
No, can I ask a question? Can I ask a question coming back on that? If that's okay.
Go on, Marcus. Yeah.
So you operate Wednesday to Sunday. Have you any desire? Question I would ask: do you have any desire to open on a Monday and a Tuesday? I mean, is that? Can you see? Yeah. Can you see in the future? Can you think actually we're going to need to operate Monday and Tuesday, but in the short term, you've got no desire? And actually, if you did have, say, you did have an event on a Sunday that was going to overrun until Monday, you could apply for TENS anyway. I mean, I'm just trying to,
I mean, you know, Matteo might want to add on to this as well, but from my side, there is no desire to change, you know, our operational days.
I think what we got to bear in mind is what the application is, and it is for 7 days a week. At the moment, we're only operating 5 days, but if I was you, August Bank Holiday Monday, I might open for that because it's within my license to do so. So I think we'll end on that. We're going on to the summing up now. Does any of the other people, the residents, wish to sum up or make any other comments? Just stick your hand up and I'll no, not at the moment. Good, thank you. Responsible authorities, as I said, there aren't any to sum up. Applicant, would you like to sum up? Matteo or Chris?
Yeah, I'd just like to sum up. And then I'm not sure how long it takes, but I do have to go to lunch. I'm sorry, it is my birthday today. So basically, I just do want to sum up, and perhaps I will go a bit off topic. I'm sorry, but especially from Charles, it seems that I would like to take the opportunity to talk about our project and perhaps confirm some things to people, and then I'll end explaining to you what we're doing with the business anyway, which I wasn't going to talk about today, but I'll let you know anyway, because I didn't know quite how many people would be here and the problems that there would have been with our license application. But as Rosie said, we came here 2 years ago. Me and my brother essentially wanted to do a food project that was focused on increasing access to natural food. We bought the farm to do that. I had been studying agroecology and looking into regenerative farming methods that Phil mentioned, forest farming. We planted thousands of trees, and we have, as everyone has seen, implemented our farming systems. The hospitality was a development to the project because financially, we didn't see anything happening to the farm for the next 3 years. The type of farming we do is long-term farming. It requires the trees to become productive and the ecosystems to be vastly regenerated. In pasture, yes, you can have livestock, you can have ruminants, but it takes a long time for a productive forest farm to be established. And so we set up these other hospitality ventures to try and immediately give people access to natural food. It requires one to be quite passionate about food to understand how important this is for the locality. It's a very degenerated food area. It's quite hard to find access to genuinely natural ingredients that don't use chemicals and that support the regeneration of the soil and biodiversity. So we thought that it would be well received. We knew that there would be traffic. We thought that people would enjoy it nonetheless. The only reason I just say all of this, because it is important to understand the wider context. We're not just another pub or a hotel looking to make money. Me and my brother have lost vast amounts of money on the project. I can assure you we're not doing it for the money. We're doing it for the values and the principles. We've mortgaged our entire house in London, and it's not just coming out of a back pocket as a fun new style project. The sort of response we've had is very hard to take. And I understand that the traffic is annoying. The obvious solution is to build a track around the back of the farm. We can't afford that yet. And unfortunately, it's just not been possible. Nonetheless, basically, we've decided to close all the hospitality parts of the business, which you'll all be extremely happy to hear, apparently. It's been really hard to decide to do. I wasn't going to mention it today. It hasn't become public information yet. It's going to be coming out in the next 3 weeks. It does make this meeting somewhat pointless, but I thought it'd be good just to hear all your points anyway. And yeah, if that helps, obviously, Rosie, you'll be chuffed to hear, but you won't have any more traffic problems. We've lost a bunch of money doing it, and the reason we're popular, Charles, is not because of our advertising. We have almost no advertising budget. It's because there are people around here who do understand the importance of natural food, of regenerating the environment, and of not eating ultra-processed, chemically sprayed foods. We've spent £3,000 in marketing in 2 years. I am active on Instagram. I think people are interested in that, but we don't have a marketing budget. We just have what I believe is to be one of the most important things happening in today's world. And young people in farming, young people in food. Nicholas, you might not think we're farmers. We are just learning as we go. Yes, we have geese. Yes, they've been a problem. Yes, I have an Iron Age pig because they are a very important species. They aren't wild boar. We're just trying really bloody hard. And I do, sorry to get emotional, I do find it really hard when no respect is taken for all the importance that we're doing for a bunch of traffic. And anyway, it's all closing, so everyone will be happy to hear that. And the application is basically completely pointless, but it's been good to hear all your thoughts. Thank you.
Thank you, Matteo. Phil, would you like to sum up?
Yes, thank you, Chair. So, yeah, as mentioned before, the subcommittee must take such steps as it considers appropriate for the promotion of the licensing objectives, and that being to either grant the application or to modify the conditions of the license by way of altering, omitting or adding any new ones, or reject the whole of the application or part of it. Right of appeal. All relevant parties have the right of appeal to the Magistrates' Court if aggrieved by the decision of the licensing authority, and this must be done within 21 days of being notified in writing of the relevant decision. Thank you, Chair.
Thank you, Phil. Okay, we now come to the stage of the meeting where we ask everybody to leave the meeting. You will be so that we can make a decision. You will be invited back once we have made a decision. I would have thought that will take as long as it takes, 45 minutes to an hour, I guess. And then you're all invited back. If you can't come back, you will the applicant will be advised within 5 working days. And as Phil said, with a right of appeal within 21 working days to the Magistrates' Court. Helen, you wanted to say something?
Yes, I won't be able to invite all the individual public back. So I'm not quite sure how to do that. That is they'll only be coming back to listen to the your decision, but I can't physically invite them back in because I don't have all their email addresses and etc. So obviously we'll get the applicant back in. I'm not quite sure how we would do that part in terms of
Chair, if I could suggest, if we say to everybody on the call, we'll aim to get back in an hour, so that will be about 12:15. No, that's not right. Yes,
yes, 12:15.
Yes. Yeah. So if everybody can log off and log back into this call at 12:15 for the decision, that seems to be the easiest way, Helen, for you.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, okay. If everyone reconvenes at 12:15, thank you. Chris has got a hand up.
Chris, have you got a procedural question?
Well, yeah, sorry, just so I understand it completely. So a decision is being made.
Yes.
We all come back onto this call, the same link, in an hour to find out what that decision is. Is that right?
Yes.
Oh, perfect. Okay, great. I'm not sure if Matteo, as Matteo said, it's his birthday and he's away, but I will definitely be back on this call.
Okay. Well, I think Matteo might have already gone, but hopefully the rest of his birthday will be less stressful than this part. Thank you all for attending, and we'll be back in an hour. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you.
So everyone's here and Chris has got his hand up right away. Over to you, Chair.
Yeah, thank you, everyone. Thank you, everyone, for attending. Chris, have you got something to say, have you? Just quickly.
Yeah, thank you. Just very quickly, it's just to say that in between the last meeting finishing and this one starting, Phil from the council and I just had a quick chat over the phone. I just wanted to clarify one point, which was at the end of the last meeting. I know Matteo was sort of sharing, his statement. He said, sorry, there's some noise in the background here. And he said about, that the fact that we'll be closing. And I just wanted to clarify what is actually going to be happening. I think what I felt that probably sounded like from Matteo to this group is that, higher farm operations will be closing and ceasing indefinitely. Now, that isn't what's actually happening. What is happening is that we are going to be running what we're currently running up until the end of October this year, and we will be closing for the winter. So that is everything, hospitality. So the restaurant, the bar, the wild swimming, all of that will be closing as of the end of October until at least April. Now, the farming side of the business will still carry on as is.
Can I just stop you there, Chris?
Yeah.
All I'd say is that going forward, your business, what you plan to do with the business in the future, has no relevance to this licensing decision. The licensing decision is based purely on the application in front of us.
Mm-hmm.
And what's going to happen going forward has no bearing on the decision.
Mm-hmm.
So what I would like to do is deliver the decision,
mm-hmm.
and then how your business is structured or how it does going forward is really a separate issue. Is that correct, Leslie?
Yes, that's right. Just if we go on, Chris, I'm sorry, I didn't catch your surname right at the start. If you could just.
Yeah, no worries. It's Byers, which is Byers.
That's lovely. Thank you very much.
Okay. Thank you, everyone, for coming back, and thank you for attending today. It was an interesting meeting with lots of good debate, which was civil as well, which is good to see. Everybody was well behaved on the whole, so that's nice. I'll get straight to the decision. The committee have heard the objections we've heard from the applicant and the objectors, and after having considered all the factors, including the objectors, which were mainly around increased traffic and nuisance, the decision of the committee is to agree the licence as applied for, with the conditions agreed with the police. One suggestion we would make is that Chris is perhaps made DPS going forward, because Matteo wasn't really aware that he was a DPS. The full decision will be made in writing within 5 working days, and a right to appeal is within 21 days to the Magistrates' Court. That's the decision of the subcommittee. Thank you all very much for attending. Leslie, do you want to add anything, or a full written decision will follow? Yeah.
Yes, the formal decision of the panel, including the reasons why, will be sent to everybody who has lodged a representation within 5 working days of today. And as the chair says, anybody who is aggrieved by that decision can appeal to the Magistrates' Court. They also have another option of seeking a review of the premises license. So if you feel that after further trading things are not going well, you can apply to the licensing authority for the particular license to be reviewed. But I would say when you bring such an application, you will be expected to bring with you evidence of what you're sort of talking about and why you want the review. So that's all I have to say, Chair. I think okay. Mr. Byrne has his hand up.
Yes, Mr. Byrne.
Could I just ask a question, really? So to get the license will start straight away, I take it, or do they have to put all the conditions in place that they've agreed with the police of the cameras and everything before they actually get the license?
License is agreed as of today. However, all the conditions that were stipulated have to be in place before they can trade under the new license. Is that correct, Phil?
Yeah, however, the CCTV condition is very similar to what was already on the license already. So when the license was granted a year ago, there's already stuff on there to do with CCTV and staff training and stuff.
Okay. Thank you. Yeah,
Thank you.
Roger, I don't want to prolong the discussion, but Roger, yes.
No, I'm just going to make a very quick statement. Charles Evans, who was on the call earlier, unfortunately can't be here, so I'm representing the parish council here. I really feel for the licensing board in this debate today, because really so much of this is really about planning, and I think that point was very well made by Leslie at the beginning. Just for the residents of Sutton, the parish council continues to seek an extension of these matters, the traffic and the noise, with the planning department on your behalf. So the fact that the licensing has been approved should not be seen as some total disaster. I think that it always should have been done through planning, and that's what the parish council will continue to pursue on your behalf.
Thank you. I know Rosie wants to say something, but I don't really want to progress. I don't want to prolong this, because it is a straight, usually we just to deliver the decision and that is it. So I'd like to thank you all for attending, and hope you have a good rest of your day. Thank you so much.